Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're basically going to completely transform how you approach network troubleshooting. Look, if you've ever stared at a blinking cursor while users are literally screaming that the network is down, you know for a fact that panic is simply not a strategy. So today, we're mastering the network by learning exactly how to isolate Cisco connectivity issues like a seasoned detective. We're going to build a rock-solid, structured approach to diagnosing outages, and we'll take you step by step through the real-world commands and proven methodologies you actually need.
Right off the bat, I want to put you in the hot seat for a second. Imagine your phone rings. A major remote branch just went completely dark. I mean, everything is unreachable. The clock is ticking, the business is losing money by the minute, and all eyes are on you. Do you know exactly which command to run first? See, a lot of engineers will just start firing off random pings or kind of guessing at configurations, hoping anything sticks. But a true network detective, they rely on a structured, investigative approach to systematically isolate the fault domain.
But hey, before we can even start our investigation, we need the right level of access to the equipment, right? Think of Cisco iOS exec modes as your detective security clearances. You start out in user exec mode, indicated by that little greater than sign on your command line. That's essentially a read-only view. It's great for, say, looking out the window, but you absolutely can't change anything or run deep diagnostics from there. To get to the real tools, you have to type enable to escalate to privileged exec mode, which gives you that # prompt. Once you've got privileged exec access, boom, you have full diagnostic clearance to start cracking the case. But to actually alter the network's behavior and fix the issue, you'll need to step even further into global config mode by typing configure terminal. This gives you the config prompt, where you can make the sweeping changes. In a real-world scenario, you're constantly escalating through these clearances dynamically. You log in, enable your privileged access to run your show commands and diagnose the fault, and then you enter global configuration to apply the fix, before finally saving your work.
Okay, Section 1, Layered Testing, the Connectivity Blueprint. When an outage strikes, chaos is the absolute enemy. What you need is a highly logical, layered strategy. Think of this layered approach like using sonar pings to narrow down a target. Step 1, test the local gateway. Ping it. Why? Well, because if you can't reach your default gateway, the issue is highly local. An interface might be down, ARP could be failing, or maybe the IP config on the end host is just completely wrong. There is literally no point checking the wide area network if you can't even get off the local switch. Now, if that passes, step 2 is end-to-end. Ping the remote IP to verify the full path. Step 3, test from source. And listen, this is where so many engineers trip up. Pinging a remote IP sourced from your router's loopback interface is absolutely critical. Sometimes traffic gets there just fine, but the remote router doesn't have a route back to your specific source network. Testing from the loopback validates that return traffic is routing back correctly. Finally, step 4, trace hop by hop using traceroute. You save this one for last to pinpoint the exact router hop where packets are dropping or where latency is spiking, letting you know exactly which device requires a closer look.
Moving right along to Section 2, the investigation, isolating the fault. So we've got our blueprint. Now, let's step onto the scene of the crime and apply this toolkit to some specific real-world outage scenarios you are definitely bound to encounter in the field. Let's say a single user reports a complete loss of connection. First up, you drop into privileged exec mode and run show IP interface brief. You're basically scanning for a down/down status to instantly identify the problem interface. But what if you check and you find the interface is technically up? Well, you dig deeper with show interfaces, and suddenly you spot a massive climbing number of CRC errors. That immediately points your investigation to Layer 1. You very likely got a damaged physical cable, a failing SFP module, or some weird electrical noise on the wire. On the flip side, what if the interface is up and up, clean as a whistle, but traffic is still failing? You run show IP interface and discover an access control list named block all applied inbound. Suddenly, you've cracked the case. It's not a broken wire at all. It's a Layer 3 security configuration mistake that someone probably applied during a late-night maintenance window.
Now, what's really interesting here is just how fragile routing adjacencies can be, and how easily they can be broken by simple human error. Imagine you're troubleshooting an EIGRP routing issue. You run show IP EIGRP neighbors, and the output is just completely empty. No adjacency, no dynamic routes being shared, nothing. You verify the physical interfaces are up and healthy, so you run show running config and pipe it specifically to the EIGRP section on both routers to compare them. And there it is. Router A is configured for Autonomous System 100, but Router B is configured for AS200. A single mismatched number, literally just a simple typo from a tired engineer, prevents the entire adjacency from forming, cutting off routing completely across that link.
Let's escalate things back to that massive scenario we opened with. A major branch office completely disappears from the network. No pings, no routing, just total darkness. How do you isolate a failure of that magnitude systematically, step by step, without losing your cool?
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact workflow you should follow to regain control of the situation. It's a precise, logical four-step sequence designed to eliminate variables from the top down. Step 1. Check the routing table using show IP route for the remote subnet. If the route is missing entirely, you've instantly narrowed the fault domain down to routing protocols. Bam, it's a layer 3 issue. But if the route is there, you move to step 2. Show IP interface brief. Scan for down WAN links. If the physical uplink to your provider is down, well, that explains the loss right there. If the interface is up, proceed to step 3, show CDP neighbors detail. If you're missing a layer 2 CDP adjacency to a directly connected upstream switch or provider edge device, you have a local cabling or physical failure between the devices. Finally, step 4, show log. Reviewing the syslog can reveal historical context, link flaps, routing protocol resets, or security events that happen at the exact timestamp the site went dark. Sticking to this strict order stops you from chasing ghosts and saves precious minutes during a critical outage.
Which brings us to Section 3, the nuclear option, debugging. Okay, most of the time the structured layered approach and our standard suite of show commands will completely solve the mystery. But occasionally, you encounter a ghost in the machine, a dynamically flapping route that just won't stay put, or a specific packet that just vanishes into the ether. That is when you have to turn to the nuclear option, debug commands. Commands like debug IP routing or debug IP OSPF events give you real-time, live visibility into the control plane as it processes information. It's incredibly powerful, sure, but it is also incredibly dangerous. So the crucial point is this stark warning from our source material. Never, ever run debug IP packet without an access control list filter applied on a production router. If you run it unfiltered, the router attempts to generate a console log for every single packet crossing its backplane. This will immediately saturate the CPU to 100%, crash the router, and you will have caused a massive, self-inflicted outage while just trying to fix a small one. Always use ACL filters to limit the debug output to just the IP address you actually care about. And always immediately run undebug all the literal second you have captured your data. So I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time the network goes dark and the pressure is on, take a breath and ask yourself, are you rushing recklessly toward the nuclear option of debugging, risking even further downtime? Or are you relying on a structured, layered investigation, checking the gateway, systematically verifying the routes, and deeply inspecting the interfaces to efficiently crack the case? Mastering the network isn't about memorizing a giant dictionary of commands. It's about knowing exactly which command to use and in what specific order. Keep this blueprint in your back pocket, follow the methodology, and for sure you'll be fully ready for your next CLI session.